And welcome to ABC-7 Extra. I'm Adrian Ochoa, filling in this week for Dylan McKim. The start of the college football season, less than a week away, and you know this man over here to my left, Coach Dana Dimmel. Thanks for coming by. Always a pleasure.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me, Adrian.
Well, yeah, Utep and NMSU are hoping for some big things in 2022. For the next half hour, we'll check in with the Miners and the Aggies, but first we're going to go ahead and start with Utep. The Miners looking to build off a successful season last year. Utep finished with a 7-6 record and went to a bowl game for the first time since 2014. That's a video you're looking at here, the New Mexico Bowl back in December. And now as fall camp comes to a close, the Miners looking to open up their 2022 season this Saturday at home against North Texas. Utep with a game in week 0 of the college football season, taking on a Conference USA opponent, North Texas. And as I mentioned earlier, Coach Dana Dimmel's here live in the studio. Coach Dimmel, year 5 already. Yeah. Can you believe that it's gone that fast?
No, it goes fast when you're grinding away and had a lot of work to do and been busy trying to get this thing turned around. It's gone super fast.
And kickoff coming up here this Saturday.
Sure.
How's the team looking?
Yeah, you know, we've had some good practices, good preparation. The guys are working extremely hard. I think the unity on our football team's really strong right now. I think a lot of the guys have their goals set. They've been working hard to achieve those goals, Adrian.
Defensively is where you hang your hat on here. A lot of returning starters. There were some holes to fill, though, on the offensive side of the ball. Starting with the defense, what do you see the progression from the defensive side?
Yeah, you know, the defense, of course, we lost some players. Every year you're going to lose some players, and I think a big thing to judge your football team is how you develop your young guys. And so I've seen our young guys really come up and do some good things. And then we brought in 5 secondary players to add because we had lost some secondary players, and those guys are looking really good through practices.
And on the offensive side of the ball, very rare now in college football, you have a returning starter entering his 3rd season, with that being Gavin Hardison. He's back, the experience that he has. What have you seen in his maturity as he's been playing for Utah?
Yeah, that's obviously the general, the lieutenant on the field, you know, of your whole program, and especially of our offense. And he's been around and done a great job. And so it's really nice having Gavin back with all that experience, and he's such a great leader.
And then you look at your running backs. You got your 1-2 punch there. Ronald Awatt, Deion Hankins, a local product, former Parkland Matador. How is the running game looking?
Those 2 guys are really physical runners. They're both very twitchy. I think Deion is healthy, which is really, I know he's healthy. I know he's healthy, and I think that'll make a big difference for him. Ronnie's so explosive as well. And, you know, Ray Flores will get some reps back there as well, a local product, as well as Ray helping us a lot at receiver.
And week 0, it's very rare to be playing in that particular week of the college football season. How does that change the preparation? Does that change in any way that you're starting the week early?
It does. It changes it. You know, we had it last year. It really changes it when it's a conference game. You know, your intensity and your focus is because this game sticks with your record, you know, more than 2 ways, conference record and regular season record. And so that part of it makes it a very intense preparation.
And North Texas coming up. You start right out of the gate with a Conference USA opponent. How does that change the preparation? You know, usually the first week you're getting to know your team and see how they handle things, but right out the gate you're here, Conference USA opponent.
There's no time for that because of that. You can't really, oh gosh, you'll kind of figure out where we are. We're going to figure out where we are real quick, and we got to put a good product on the field early. I think North Texas has got an outstanding football team. They've been the team to beat in the conference. They've been to 6 straight bowl games. They've definitely set the precedence for the conference, and so what a way for us to open up the season.
And coming off the season that you came last year, and you had the returners that are coming back that were on that team last year, obviously that's got to help in knowing they've been there before, they know the work that it takes to get to a bowl game. How do you proceed that moving forward into this season?
It's really big for us, and then you think about that as you get, you know, the game's very close now. My mind's wrapped around the game, and you think about, gosh, it's going to be really important to have those guys because they've been there in the battles, and they're going to help some of the younger, talented guys we have make that transition.
And when you look at your first 5 games, it's a pretty tough schedule. You got North Texas, then Oklahoma, NMSU, New Mexico. You run the land of enchantment there, and then Boise State at home. That is a tough 5 games. When you look at those 5 games, what are you thinking and the preparation that's going to take?
First of all, Adrian, I never try to give a number to myself in case I forget one, so nice work right there of going through the 5 right there and putting yourself on the spot. I think there are 5 really difficult games for us. You know, the New Mexico State games are going to be very difficult, and we know the first 2 are going to be extremely hard. And then, you know, hopefully we'll get to that Boise game. You know, that's the 5th one, but that's a big game too. So, and tough games. They're all going to be we got to play good football early.
There's been this push, obviously, to pack the Sun Bowl, sell out the Sun Bowl. As of this taping, I believe there was only like 5,000 tickets left. You look at last season, the biggest attendance was that UTSA game, more than 31,000 people for that one. Coming off of that and knowing that you're probably going to get like 40,000 for that home opener against North Texas, what does that mean to you to finally, for you yourself, to be able to see that packed Sun Bowl?
Oh, I think it's great. It's a good environment, you know, and our guys need to not, you know, they need to go out and play and have fun, right? Don't go out and play nervous. Go out, have fun, and enjoy the environment, and enjoy having their fans there to support them. And it should be a beautiful night as far as the fan attendance and all that in the Sun Bowl. And it's our job now to go out and play some really good quality football.
And as I mentioned, Coach, you have season number 5 for you. When you look at your time here at Utep, how do you sum it up? Like the work that it's taken to get to where you are
Yeah,
now?
you know, again, I've been in turnarounds. Has kind of been my life story of my coaching career. I don't think I've ever been anywhere that hasn't had to really have a turnaround. Wyoming might have been the place that I was at that really wasn't a major turnaround, but it had some turnaround as far as the consistency that we provided there. At that point, had never been provided in recent years. And so it's a bit, you got to come in, you got to learn your school, you got to understand what needs to be done, and then move forward. And that's what we did here. And now we feel like we've been really blessed with the type of talent we've been able to bring in.
Just want you to make your case for the UTEP fans out there. Stragglers might not have gotten your tickets yet.
Yeah.
What do you have to say to them, you know, for this year's team, what they can look forward to this season?
915, it's your city, your team, your game, right? That's been our big thing. We did it because we know the pride that's in El Paso, how much pride there is for UTEP in general, and for the athletics at UTEP, and it's always been there. There hasn't been a whole lot of reasons for them to come out and support UTEP football in many years past, but hopefully we can continue to give them those things, and we feel like we have a team that's going to play really hard and put a good product out on the field.
Well, my thanks to Coach Dimmel for stopping by. Coach, best of luck this season.
Thanks, Adrian. Appreciate it.
You're watching ABC-7 Extra. Coming up after the break, we'll be joined by UTEP Athletic Director Jim Center. We'll be talking more about that push, that 915 campaign to get fans to sell out the Sun Bowl. That's coming up next. You're watching ABC-7 Extra, where news comes first.
Hey El Paso, your future is calling. It's time to imagine what's possible and dream big. We are ready to create a new path forward, helping you reach your goals and potential. Your passion is our purpose. Let's rise together.
This isn't your typical runaway bride scene. It's a Nissan sales event ad. Now that's something I can commit to. His RAV4 doesn't even have as many standard safety features as this Rogue.
Get low APR financing plus no payments for 90 days on Rogue.
Love may be forever, but these offers are not.
If you think about it, hash browns are the French fries of breakfast.
Who says it's not French fries that are the hash browns of lunch and dinner?
That's also true.
There's always something to talk about when it comes to McDonald's breakfast. Right now, get a sausage biscuit and hash browns pairing for just $2.50. Mornings taste better at McDonald's.
The Rio Grande Area Agency on Aging presents the Aging to Perfection Expo, Wednesday, August 31st from 9 to 2 at the El Paso Convention Center. Health screenings, services, and products for older adults, free COVID-19 vaccinations and boosters, as well as free flu shots while supplies last. Plus, on-site mammograms will be available. Find local resources to help meet the needs of older adults and family caregivers at the Aging to Perfection Expo. Admission is free, Wednesday, August 31st from 9 to 2 at the El Paso Convention Center. See you at the expo.
Hey El Paso, your future is calling. It's time to imagine what's possible and dream big. We are ready to create a new path forward, helping you reach your goals and potential. Your passion is our purpose. Let's rise together.
And welcome back to ABC-7 Extra. I'm Adrian Ochoa, joined now by UTEP Athletic Director Jim Center. Jim, thanks for stopping by, taking the time.
Hey, my pleasure. Delighted to be here. It's always good to be in the studio with you.
Yes, thank you very much. And we're talking about this 915 campaign. Yeah. We really want to go ahead and show that promo that we've been running here on the local stations here in El Paso. Just amazing, just the shots and stuff. But the importance of this 915 campaign, can you talk about that?
Well, it's really about engaging all of El Paso. And, you know, El Pasoans are very, very proud of our city and the 915 area code. And let's face it, UTEP is in the 915 area code and is an embedded part of El Paso and El Pasoans in this culture here, as well as the community embracing Utep. So it's really important, and we wanted to reach out to this entire area code and make sure they knew they were welcome and we want them at each one of our games.
And you really went out to the community. The other video I wanted to show was those caravans. I think we stopped by most of the caravans, really went all across town, and we could go ahead and take that video of those caravans, just, you know, people getting to meet the student athletes themselves face to face, and then also to push the sellout of the Sun Bowl for the first game here coming up August 27th. Talk to me about these caravans and just the effectiveness of it.
Yeah, well, I tell you, Adrian, our staff did a great job of coming up with a plan that we could implement all summer long. Lots of student athletes, lots of coaches across all different sports. And as everybody knows, the 915 campaign isn't just about a Sun Bowl sellout. It's about us selling out the University of New Mexico volleyball game right on September 1st. It's about us selling out the soccer game at University Field coming up on 9/15, right, when our soccer team takes the field. So we want all of our student athletes to feel the full power and passion of El Pasoans, and that's why the 915 campaign is so important to us.
And here we are, a few days out from kickoff.
Yeah.
Already, as of this taping, about 5,000 tickets.
There's about 5,000 tickets left. Yeah, we expect they're moving about 300, 400, 500 a day, depending on if somebody buys group tickets. So we fully expect that we will have a sellout, hopefully by Friday before the game. That's what we're shooting for.
And not since 2008 has a Utep football game sold out, and that was against, of course, the Texas Longhorns. This is going to be the first time you're going to see a crowd of that magnitude. You kind of got a little piece of it when you played UTSA, a little more than 31,000, I think, for that game. So how's that going to mean to you to see that?
Well, honestly, a year ago when I saw UTSA and the crowd that we have there, of course, UTSA had a great football team. They were undefeated. We had a good team, and El Paso was starting to catch the fever a little bit, right? I looked around the Sun Bowl and went, wow, this place could be unbelievable if we could fill it. And that was kind of the impetus that I challenged our staff with, Adrian, and I looked at this and I went, you know what, this job, I've always felt the UTEP job, right, could be as good as any mid-major in the country. We have enough human capital in El Paso. We have enough finances. We just got to get more people involved. Thus, the 915 campaign was born. So we're really excited about the game on the 27th.
And obviously, it's going to be your biggest crowd coming up here. Anything that the fans need to know before they head out to the game?
Yes, that's a terrific question. I would tell our fans, number one, if you haven't been to the game in a while, go to utepminers.com/game day, right? Football game day. And you will see our donor guide. You will see all the things you should know about the game. So everything from where to park, how much it costs, the time the gates open, an hour and a half before game time at 5:30. You're going to want to get to our games earlier than you've ever had before, because with this kind of crowd, there's going to be a lot of new people coming, not knowing where to go, where to park, what to do. That's really important. Folks are going to want to take a look at the ingress and egress routes. We've worked with traffic and safety to try to get people out of here after the game much more expediently. Folks are going to want to make sure you download your tickets at home, right? Don't wait till you get to the stadium and 40,000 people are all trying to download their digital tickets. Do it while you're home and you got your own home internet or cell service instead of coming to the game, right? But come early.
Just with the ever-changing landscape, you know, of the conferences, I want to go ahead and just touch on that, because Conference USA is going to look a lot different next year. Going to welcome in some new members, including NMSU Aggies as well. Just how are you navigating through that, just with the way conferences are right now and the ever-changing landscape with that?
Well, to be honest with you, there's not a whole lot for us to navigate, right? At this juncture, we're a proud member of Conference USA. We've lost 3 members, so now we're down to 11 teams, and we're going through the gyrations of the revised schedule, and that's why we have this football game against North Texas in week 0. So basically, we're just working with the league to try to pull off the next schedule, and then we'll have 6 teams leaving and 4 new ones coming on board. So at the end of the day, the only thing that we can do is win. The only thing we can do is compete forward and win championships and do it at a high level. If we do that, everything else will take care of itself. But we need all of El Paso and the El Pasoans to get behind us, support us, so we can do that very thing.
Last thing I wanted to just touch on, I think you're coming up on your 5th anniversary here at Utep. Talk about the ride that it's been. I mean, certainly you didn't have a pandemic planned in your things to-do list, but that was definitely a challenge for you. Where do you feel that the UTEP program, the athletic department, is at this point?
Well, I tell you, I've had several people mention that to me and ask how I felt about it. I'm very, very proud of our staff. I feel really good about the chemistry. I feel like we're hitting on all cylinders as our coaching staff, administrative, our student athletes. We still have sports that we've got to get going, and we're not as competitive as we want to be, but we have some others that are really doing it pretty well, and we hope are poised and in position to compete for and win championships year in and year out. And so we feel really good about where we're at and think that the ceiling is still pretty high.
Well, my thanks again, Jim. Thanks again for stopping by. We'll see you on the sidelines.
All right, Adrian, thank you. Go Miners.
Picks up indeed. You're watching ABC-7 Extra. Coming up after the break, we'll catch up with the NMSU Aggies. That's coming up right after the break. You're watching ABC-7 Extra.
With Honda, every summer adventure is the destination. Take your adventures farther with Honda, America's most fuel-efficient, full-line automaker. Visit your local Honda dealer, where new vehicles are arriving daily. Buy online or reserve from select Honda dealers.
A good education is key for every child, and ESC 19 Head Start is the best place for children to begin. Head Start is El Paso's premier preschool program for expectant mothers and children from birth to 4 years old. Our full range of services support early learning and development in high-quality educational environments. We also help parents with their educational and career goals with classes, training, and community resources. Call or visit us online to register today.
Before his plan to take away abortion rights from New Mexico women, and before he praised the end of Roe v. Wade, Mark Ronchetti threatened the health care of people across New Mexico. Ronchetti proposed ending the Affordable Care Act, which would roll back protections for pre-existing conditions, shutter rural hospitals, and take away health care from hundreds of thousands in New Mexico. After that, it's clear we can't trust Mark Ronchetti as governor. Paid for by a stronger New Mexico.
Oscar Leaser's Hyundai of El Paso is proud to celebrate our 21st anniversary. We've served El Paso proud for over 2 decades, and this year we're celebrating by expanding. The amazing expansion is underway as we prepare a bigger, better, state-of-the-art showroom and service experience to serve you for the next 21 years. We're open during construction and fully stocked with the vehicles you want today, like Elantras, Colas, Tucson, Santa Fe, Sonatas, even Palisades, all available with 0 down and interest rates as low as 2.99% APR. Only at Oscar Leaser's Hyundai of El Paso.
Welcome back to ABC-7 Extra. I'm Adrian Ochoa as we turn our attention now to New Mexico State. The Aggies open up their season this Saturday against Nevada at Aggie Memorial Stadium. For the Aggies, it's not just the start of a new season, but also the beginning of a new chapter under a new head coach. Joining me now is NMSU head coach Jerry Kill and NMSU's director of athletics, Mario Mocha. Thank you both for taking the time.
You bet. Thanks for having us.
Coach Kill, here we are just a few days away from kickoff. Where do you feel like your team is at this particular point right here?
Well, I think that as any head coach would probably tell you, there's a lot we got to get done in the next 7 days. And, you know, we got a young team and, you know, they're still learning and we're still working at it. And we just got off the practice field a little bit ago and I wasn't as happy as I'd like to be. So, you know, except we got a ways to go here before we play. But the kids have worked hard, but we still got to learn what I call intelligence, football knowledge, and we're not there in that part of it.
Does the preparation in any way change the fact that you're playing a week earlier here in week 0? How does the preparation for that work?
I don't think that that hasn't really changed. You know, we came in early, but that hasn't really changed anything. The next week it changes because, you know, we play a late game and then we go to Minnesota and play them on a Thursday. So that is a tough change. But this one here, playing on 0 week, I don't mind it at all.
And Mario, news earlier this week. Primetime, ESPN2, 8 p.m. kickoff from Aggie Memorial Stadium. Just how cool is that to be playing on that national stage?
Well, I think it's great, you know, not just for the football program and the athletic department. It's great for New Mexico State University. It's great for Las Cruces, New Mexico. This is only going to be the 4th time that an ESPN network has aired a New Mexico State football game. And, you know, to have your product with all the enthusiasm and the Stuff the Stadium promotion, in front of 84 million homes around the United States. I mean, we always talk about what football can do. for your athletic program, what football can do for your institution, this is it. I mean, if I put a dollar sign on 3+ hours in 84 million homes around the country, we would never be able to afford it. And that's what having, not just playing on 0 week, but quite frankly, having Coach Kill, 8th active most winningest coach. There's a lot of excitement, and you're playing a great Mountain West opponent in Nevada. So it's going to be a great evening from a visibility standpoint, what you can do with recruits, et cetera.
And you mentioned it, Mario, that stuff, the stadium, you obviously want to look good in front of the national audience there. What are you all doing just to get fans to come out for the opening kickoff?
Well, we just sold another couple hundred today, so we're right at 14,000 tickets sold through that promotion. Adrian, that's 14% of the city of Las Cruces coming to the game. When you add the students, 5,000 plus the band, we always get that in the first game, and our season ticket base, you're looking right now more than a week out of 23,500. I mean, that's 24% of our entire community. So as we get closer to the event, I know we'll sell more and more tickets. I anticipate having a very strong walk-up. Everybody's asking me, is the place going to be sold out? I say, I don't know, but there's going to be a heck of a lot of people in there. And we know from historical records, a non-UNM Utep game, it's already the 3rd all-time from a ticket sales and revenue standpoint. So we're really excited about that.
And Coach Kill, going back to you, your first season here at NMSU, just how have you adjusted to the program, and what has it been like your time at NMSU so far?
Busy. It's been very busy, but first of all, I love Las Cruces. I love living here. The people are tremendous. We just got to give them a good football team, and that's what we've been working hard at. We got in here late for recruiting. However, we may have maybe the 2nd or 3rd biggest kind of turnover margin, you might say. We brought in 42 players, so more than about half our team, and so we've had to bring them all together, and the chemistry's good. The kids have worked hard. I can't complain about the kids and their effort, and I'm not easy to play for. I'm a kind of an old school guy that expects a lot, but these kids have responded well to it, and again, we just got to get better at the little things you got to do to win a ball game, and certainly your first game.
And certainly come that opening kickoff, we'll find out who your starting quarterback will be. You're not naming him right now and keeping that close to the vest, but you have freshmen and Gavin Franks and then Diego Pavia. Just what do they each bring to the table?
Well, Diego brings to the table that he hadn't lost. I mean, he won a national championship game. He's also, I think, 3-time state wrestling champ. He's a winner. He makes plays, does a lot of things. Still learning, but you can't stamp a winner on a quarterback. And when you win a national championship, that's a big thing. Gavin Franks is a guy that, if we had the NFL draft or whatever, he would have tested out better than any quarterback as far as the speed and the vertical jumps, the bench press, all that stuff. So he has all kinds of ability, but he's also got all types of youth, and so he's still learning on the run here a little bit. But they're both doing well, and they're definitely our top 2 quarterbacks right now.
And you open up the season against Nevada, obviously at home, August 27th, 8 p.m. kickoff. What do you see challenges that the Wolfpack can pose for you guys in week 0, technically?
Not knowing what they're going to do. They got the same challenges is because they've got a new coaching staff and, player turnovers. I mean, we're very similar in that part. And I know they're very, very well coached. And so I know that. But I think the threat of the unknown, you can't prepare for ghost. And when both of us are probably preparing for ghost a little bit. So you just better be sound and simple. I always call it keep it simple, stupid, and make sure that you know what to do, whatever they come out in offensively or defensively.
And Mario, we'll give you the last question here. What do fans need to know as they head out to Aggie Memorial come the opening and in the rest of the season as well?
Well, look, it's an atypical start. We're starting at 8 p.m. You know, this is you only have a few chances in your life to be on TV and to be part of a very special event. And this is one of them. So I encourage, you know, everybody in New Mexico and the surrounding area to come on out and watch a little bit of history. You know, it's the start of the Jerry Kill era. But boy, you've got a Mountain West team. We've got a lot of bells and whistles. People that are familiar with New Mexico State know we always have a little circus going on before the game. Yeah, it's going to be a wonderful evening. And I hope they want to be part of it so they can tell everybody, hey, I was there when.
Well, thank you very much. My thanks to Coach Jerry Kill and Mario Mocho for taking the time. Best of luck this season.
Thank you. Appreciate it very much.
Thanks, Adrian.
Well, this has been ABC-7 Extra. I'm Adrian Ochoa. We'll see you on the sidelines from the Sun Bowl or at Aggie Memorial Stadium. Enjoy the games this season. Have a great night, everyone, and an awesome week ahead.